Hello,
Okay.
Lisa. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi. How are you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. What about you? How's life?
Good. Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yes. Yes, I do hear you good. Can you hear me?
You're not using any mics or anything, right?
No,
You're not
everything is good.
using any. Okay, good. I was just introducing or talking about tonight's live session. Um, People who used to
Hmm.
follow me before, I used to have different accounts called Quick English. I still have the YouTube channel where all my previous interviews are hosted there. I've hosted a lot of live sessions with teachers from different parts of the world. I mean, American, Russian, Chinese. Really, it was a series of lives which I like to invite teachers such as yourself, teachers, content creators, anyone who's interested in learning English or teaching English. So the thing is,
Hmm.
first thing I like to do is sharing experience. I share my experience. You guys share your experiences as well. Um, in tonight's session, I just let me introduce how I came across your profile. I came across your profile on TikTok, not on Instagram,
Hmm.
and I noticed that you were very active on this platform. So I decided to invite you and invite, of course, other teachers. So without further ado, let's start with you, Romea. Tell us who is Romea first. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Um, First of all, hi everybody. Hope you are doing well. Hope everything is doing great. It's really hard to introduce myself. It's one of the hardest questions that it's
Yeah,
always,
I know.
it asks every time when someone is asking you, can you introduce yourself?
Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay. Now it's better.
Good, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Actually, whatever you ask someone, can you introduce yourself? Like, it's very hard to answer. But generally, I can give you just a very small brief about me. I'm a girl who is passionate about communication and English. Uh, I'm about to graduate, actually. I'm not graduated yet. I'm about to graduate from a business school with a degree of marketing and communication. And even though that I studied marketing, for me, communication is more important and more interesting for me. And communication, I always go to English since I did study everything in English. And one of my first struggles in my life was English because I was the only one ashamed of her English when I was 12 years old. So my journey started this way. And recently, I just,
You
you know,
attend a private or public school?
that's the thing. I was in a public school, and then my parents transferred me to a private school, in the middle of my primary school.
Hmm.
And that's why I was like just shocked seeing that people are studying 1 hour of English a week, and I knew nothing about English. So I was ashamed of me, of my level in English. I couldn't even read. So that's the thing. Later on, I just, yeah, decided to learn on my own. And alhamdulillah, today I can speak it. I did my studies in it, and even now I can teach others how to speak it
Good.
today.
Now, we're coming to this point of your
Yes.
methodology of teaching people. How do you help people learn communication? By the way, this live is going to be recorded and posted later, if you don't mind, of
Yeah,
course.
sure, no
Yeah, I
problem.
usually post all my lives for people to watch it because not everyone gets the chance to watch it live.
Yes.
Yeah, we announce it late and stuff. So, uh, Romaisa, it's difficult, as you said, to introduce yourself or to know
Yes.
where to start and ask to introduce yourself. Well, let me
Yes.
just ask some some
Question.
questions to make it easier for you.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with Romesa. When did you first start learning English? I mean, in school, I mean.
Okay, my first steps with English were when I was, if we can say, 9, 11 years old, between 9 and 11 years old. Then when I discovered that there was a language called English, and maybe I don't know it, I don't know how to read it, I don't know how to speak it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So, do you consider early age or a late age to start learning English?
Mm,
Well,
for me, any age, English has nothing to do with age or educational study, like educational level, or if you have a background in some fields. For me, English is English.
okay.
That's it. It's a language. It's a tool that we use. That's
Mm.
it. I don't link it to anything of these. Yeah, that's the
So
thing.
some people say it's like the earlier you learn language, the easier.
It's not about earlier, but a lot of people did study in private schools in Morocco because the system private school, like there's English and they cannot speak it even though they did study in English early, and some others they just started it after baccalaureate in their high school, like in their university
Exactly.
studies.
After
Yes,
exam.
and they can teach it in the end, like more than just speaking it, but even teaching others. So it's not about early age, but it depends how much time you invested in a language, because a language is developed by how much time you invest in it.
Okay. Yeah, I consider myself an example of this. I learned English in school, but my real journey, my actual real journey started after I graduate. I took my baccalaureate to get my baccalaureate, and then I started learning
Yeah.
the English language. That's when I could like develop my speaking and develop the English I have now. Yeah. So, generally speaking, age is not really a major factor when it comes to learning English. However, preferably, if people are watching us, if you have kids, you have the chance or you have to choose between languages to teach to your children. I mean, go for English at an early age, in addition to French, of course,
Yeah.
because your kids really needs English, and this burden or carrying this burden of learning English shouldn't go with you for life. I mean, the
Yeah.
sooner you're introduced to English, the better. This is a message to the parents.
Yes,
Please,
you're right. Like
English is a must in our
yeah,
time.
because when you associate, you're right, because when you associate age, if we can say it in another aspect, which is that the more that, the older that you become, the more things that you have to do. Like you have to do more things in your life, you have more engagement, you're not free enough to invest more time. So yes, it's true if we talk from this aspect, but talking about aspect only age, generally this way, that's hard.
Yeah. So English is a must. English is it's a tool that students need. I mean,
Mhm.
anything you're doing now, anything you're studying, uh, English has to be part of it. It's a language that most of the world uh,
Mhm.
used to. Okay, so back to Romesa, and let's move a little bit from studies in English and learning English to content creation. You're a content creator. Tell us, when did you start, or when did you first have the idea of not just learn English, but also help people or decide to help people learn English, and especially English communication? How did you?
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, tell us, when did you start it and
My
how?
story with the content creation is very not weird, but like very special, because actually I wanted to create content since I was 17. I was thinking about content to create. And since and now I'm doing my bachelor in marketing. So yeah, my life is about social media, you know, because I do a lot of community management. So I'm always on social media, on Instagram. I did manage a lot of pages, a lot of things like that. So yes, so my journey with social media and how I did link it to my English, that's the weird part. Because actually, I never thought about posting something about in English online. I never thought about teaching people online. When I was teaching, like before 2 years ago, I was teaching also like because I was learning Chinese language because I was learning a lot of other languages or maybe just practicing. So I did meet a lot of people who are in a low level of English, who are still, if you can say, still beginners. So they needed my help. But later on, recently, I just started since February. Yes,
This February this year?
yes, last February, I started posting on social media, and I started my journey on social media. And it was just because it was a coincidence because I was in an event. I was commenting after an event about to end. I was commenting on the microphone. A person I know here, I'm very grateful for him because he's the reason why I started my social media. He did check a video I posted. The video like went not viral, but went 34K views.
Okay.
Yes, and it was like my first video I posted on social media. And
Nice.
that's it. And I said like, yeah, you have to continue because of that video, like I got 600 followers. I was like, what the hell? So people, they really need English. And I started uh, receiving messages about English.
What platform did you start? Did you start on TikTok?
And I started on Instagram at first. And I
Okay.
started receiving, yeah, so I started receiving things.
Went viral, the video that you
The video was in Instagram here.
answered. Okay.
Yes. And I started receiving like DMs about English. And I was like, oh, really people in it to English this much? For me, it was normal thing because I was studying English at school, yeah, university, because I'm doing an international bachelor. For me, it's okay. Then I realized that people are really they are really in need to my skills. Then I decided why not? Like, yeah, let's start this journey. Why not start it? And I started it, and it's going good so far. Alhamdulillah. I don't know how it's going. I'm just going. I don't have a real plan about it, but yeah, it is planned from Allah.
Oh, okay. Nice. So, and do you teach? Well, you teach people online.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Um, what is your approach to teaching? Like, every teacher online has a preferred type of teaching or
Yes,
methodology, way that he would like associate with himself.
yeah.
Uh,
Or maybe
yeah,
like a philosophy of teaching. Each
yeah,
one has his philosophy.
ways of teaching.
Yes. Okay. For me, I started teaching online, notably like I started having people coming from social media to me asking for classes, and yes, I do offer classes online. Then I focus more on communication since I do my bachelor in communication and marketing. So I'm really confident that I have a good communication skills, in terms uh, speaking on stage, talking to people, communication. And I just realized that that's the need because as far as I see in my university, like with people around me, they have a big lack of confidence and a big lack of communication skills. Then I just said, okay, communication and English together is English communication.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's why you can see that I'm not posting that I'm an English teacher, and I'm not posting things about the vocabulary stuff like that, and I'm not even when you see that you see DM like in my bio, you're gonna see DM for communication classes, not just English classes, because for me,
You're not really teaching beginners, not really teaching English to beginners. You're more like teaching
yes, that's
communication
my
to
main focus exactly. My main focus is to,
People already understand English.
yes, my main focus for now is to teach English to the people who are already understanding it and they want to use it to communicate. But
Yeah.
I do accept beginners too, but the beginners do, and what I accept, I'm telling them that, okay, if I accept you, I'm not teaching how to write. I'm not gonna be teach you things like a teacher. I'm here to make you speak. I'm just gonna make you speak.
How do you
That's
make beginners speak? Is it
okay.
by like making him memorize expressions, by
hmm
saying
Yes,
simple words?
okay. There are a lot of ways to make a beginner speak, actually. For example, one of my ways is that I give him a picture, I give him a vocabulary bank, and he asks him, can you describe the picture? And whatever he is stuck, I'm here to help. That's a way to make the person really speak and express, because that's a challenge today. Everything, a lot of people today, they have a lot of vocabulary, they understand me when I speak right now, but I'm sure that they cannot speak this is the way I speak. Why? First of all, a lack of practice. They don't practice enough. The second is that they don't have the communicate. Sometimes they are afraid of committing mistakes. They are not confident. What communication needs, they don't have it. That's
Okay.
the challenge. So for me, even if you are A1 students, if you are A2 students, I'm here to give you the courage to speak English, even though you only have few sentences in your head. You have to say them, and you have to be proud and confident speaking the sentences. So that's my approach. I'm more, if you can say, I'm like a mixing between the psychological part, you know, and also the knowledge. For me, the psychological condition is more important than the knowledge itself.
Yeah, I agree. So, a majority of people, I would say 80% of the students, they do understand 100% of what other people are saying. Like they understand, they have no problem understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, and also communication. They can communicate, but at a very limited like conditions. Like if you put them in a complex situation or ask them to explain something or talk about it for a long time, they would freeze and be blocked and stuff. So why? What? As you said, it's a psychological thing. It's not really related to the knowledge or the information, the vocabulary, the grammar and stuff. Why do you think the majority of people have this psychological barrier or that prevents them from speaking? Where does it come from? I mean, a lot
Okay.
of good communicators when it comes to French, to Derija, their mother tongue, but when it comes to speaking English, uh, even though they know a lot of things, a lot of vocabulary, they can answer all the questions related to grammar and stuff. But when it comes to speaking, they freeze. Where does this barrier come from?
Okay. This comes from, like, primarily it comes from the environment. Because since the person is growing up, while the person is growing up, um, yeah, the environment is building this person to be afraid of committing mistake in front of others. Because he's afraid of being judged. He doesn't want people to judge him. He doesn't want people to know that he is committing mistake. And later on, they start overthinking. And when they start overthink, they feel that, okay, now they start thinking what people are thinking about them. And so on, they are just making a really huge gap or barrier between them and the confident speaking. Okay? So I think that's the only two reasons. First, afraid of people. That's the first one. The second one is that they are overthinking. They think a lot. They want to speak perfect English. That's the only two things I think that these things are coming. Yeah, I know it's always coming from the environment because as you see, if we can say, I don't know, an American person speaking Arabic, he wouldn't be afraid committing mistake in front of you. as an Arab person or as a Moroccan or whatever. Because for him, he did not he did not grow up as a person afraid of committing mistakes about a foreign language. But in Arab countries, in Morocco, yes, we did. And that's the main reason, actually.
Mm-hmm. Can we say that a person, or can we say that communication is a skill related to, as you said, we already said, not can we say, I mean, we already came to this conclusion. Uh, uh, the lack of this skill is really a psychological thing. But can we say that anyone who's got the communication skill in French and in Darija can also transfer it to English? Since we're talking both about French as a foreign language and English as a foreign language as well. If you're a good communicator, does it make you a good communicator in all languages?
If you, okay. If you are aware of your communication skills, yes. If you're not aware of your communication skills, no. There are a lot of people who are good communicators in Arabic, and they're not aware of that. You know? And when it comes to English, they don't know the tools how to communicate because, for example, in English, a lot of situations might happen and you have to, to be always ready. You have to be always ready to, you have to react fast because when it comes to speaking, you don't have time to think. And for example, when you think, you have to treat that time of thinking as time that you are having a rest to speak again, not a time that's going to be a beginning for a panic. All these parts. So there are these techniques that you have to be aware of. If you, for example, in Arabic, because you are comfortable and you don't, you're comfortable, you don't wait anyone to judge you. Okay, good. Even if you panic in Arabic, you will be really, you'll be laughing and say, oh my God, I forgot what I wanted to say. Okay, anyways, and you're comfortable. But when it comes to English, you feel like, oh my God, it's the end of the word. You couldn't say a good sentence and everyone is looking at you. And it's too much. I understand because I do have a lot of students having this problem. And techniques, as I told you, this kind of techniques I told you about, that's what I teach to my students. Okay, further words, how to use them. Don't use them too much. Here are the times when you have to, the time when you have to use them, and so on. So if you are aware of your communication skills, then you'll be good in other languages. For example, me now, if I go to learn, for example, Spanish or Chinese or whatever, I don't think that I'll face a lot of communication skills, a lot of communication challenges, I mean, in that language, because I'm aware of my communication skills here. You see?
I mean, awareness or being aware that of your communication skill. Are we really aware of the techniques that you're teaching with time? Like the techniques or the things that you teach your students to use with time, they become passive in their minds. I mean, they are integrated with their system of thinking. Like with time, you don't feel that you're a good communicator, or you don't have this awareness of being a good communicator. And if you look at all the great communicators in the world, like presidents or public speakers and stuff, they don't really, or they can't, most of them, explain the techniques that they use in order to be good communicators. Do you see what I mean?
For them, the good communicator, once it's become passive, that's it. You will not always think about it.
Yeah. So it becomes yours. It's, I mean, who is going to be aware that the person is a good communicator? It's not you. It's other people who are looking at you, listening to you.
Exactly.
When you listen to someone speaking, or when you have a conversation with someone, you decide whether this person is a good communicator. Yeah, but he doesn't know. Like, he's just being himself, and that's the hard challenge about it. When it comes to some examples that you can take, fear of judgment and fear of others to judge you or fear of making mistakes, uh, I don't know how you deal with it, but it's really a challenge. You can't escape it.
It's really hard. Notably, if you
You
have.
reach a high level of speaking that language,
Uh-huh.
you will still have, because as I said, the cultural background that we're coming from stresses mistakes and
Yeah.
puts a lot of stress, puts a lot of criticism around making mistakes in a language. Why would you speak that language and you know that you make mistake? Just speak Arabic. Why do you speak this language? I think we have a whole pack of a cultural background which punishes mistakes, which
Mm-hmm.
doesn't tolerate mistakes at all. So the fact that most people are struggling with this, it's a normal thing.
Yes, exactly. And people are struggling, and even I struggle more. Because imagine that you have to change the mindset of a person who even started teaching English. So you see, the first point is they have to change his mindset. Don't care about people. Commit mistakes. It's okay. And I always have an example that I give to my students that's really working so good. To just give them the example of that they are just fearing people's judgments, because there are some students that they are not admitting what they feel. They are not admitting that they are afraid. They're like, no, I'm not afraid, but just like this. Come on,
Look,
you're afraid, I'm sure. They don't admit.
inside you, you care, and you care a lot.
Yes, exactly.
Are you
And
free?
yeah,
Uh,
and I give them an example. I tell them, imagine, it's like I always give them the example in French language, because most of Moroccans they speak in French, but generally, I get them. Imagine like someone is coming to you, and he is okay. Let's talk about just Moroccan. Someone is coming to you, and he's for example, from the Middle East, or he's from China, and he doesn't know that much about French, right? As a Moroccan, I know that you're not really fluent in French. You have good French to speak. That person is very, very beginner. How would you be feeling when you speak to him? I'm sure that you're gonna be using words that you don't even understand, just to show that you are really fluent in French. Okay? You'll be using words from here and there and trying to show off that, okay, I speak fluent French. Yes, in Morocco we speak French and stuff. Okay? And then when it comes, if there is a French person in front of you, when you speak French, you will be like, you'll be afraid. I don't know if this is a good verb to use, is a good word to use here. Maybe you didn't understand me in that point. You know, the difference between these two feelings, that's the confidence we talk about.
and in the same way, I used to give an example to my students, a very concrete, clear, obvious example. Like I tell someone who's struggling with this, tell him, look, if you want to know the impact of others on you when you speak a language, try speaking in English to a group of children.
Yes.
In English to a group of English students or teachers of English. You will
Yes.
notice a very big difference. So cognitively, without being aware of it, when you speak to children, you will be relaxed.
Yes.
You will be confident. Where does this confidence come from? You're the same person speaking to teachers and trees and stuff. You're the same person. What changes is what you're thinking about. You're thinking about those children to be children. They will not make comments on your accents. They will not correct your mistakes. They will not do anything of that. Well, on the other hand, teachers or someone who knows the language, of course. So it
Yes,
differs.
exactly. Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah, good. So I would like to move on to something really interesting in relation to communication.
mm-hmm.
Uh, People fear judgment from
Yeah.
others, fear what others will say about them from two sides, at least two sides, two most important sides. One, vocabulary, grammar, linguistic things. Two, which is the hard part. You know, we're born in a country like Morocco. We speak Darija. We're introduced to classical Arabic through Quran and stuff. So we're familiar with the sounds related to Arabic and Darija most. Some sounds that don't exist also in classical Arabic, like get and stuff. But still, we struggle a lot with some sounds that are coming from the English language, such as r, such as some sounds that are really
Okay.
worry too much about how they pronounce words. Is my pronunciation correct or not? This is the second worry that we have. First, the linguistic worry. We worry whether grammar is correct, whether vocabulary is accurate or not. Second one is pronunciation. Pronunciation and accent. Where do you see this? How do you deal with this problem? Because really, my
Accent.
good. My accent is not good. I don't speak like Americans.
That's a wrong. That's a wrong thing. You know, for me personally, I can just share my personal opinion. Accent. If you have a special accent than native speakers, you know you are gifted. For me, I really like people who are, you know, who like the English is not really similar to native speakers. Why? I understand that when you are like native speaker, yes, you sound like native speaker. You give the aura of native speaker to people to on who are not.
Are favored by people.
Yes, and also like you.
Employers, I mean, you're favored by employers in jobs, interviews, you're
Yes,
favored.
yes, exactly.
A native language accent, you're favored.
Exactly, a favorite, and more than that is like when you have an accent, you are more understand, like they get to understand you more. Okay, your English is okay, clear. But for me, I really love when someone who doesn't have an accent like Americans. I don't know why. I feel like they don't really give up on their background or something. Like there is something linked them to their background.
American close.
No, like yes, yeah, something, yeah, a language that I can understand, English that I can understand, but also there's a touch of your, you know, of your native language.
Your
When there is a touch of your native language, I don't know why, but I like it. You know that today, for example, Indian people, like the word system, now they integrated the Indian accent in many places. Now they cannot really refuse an Indian person just because of his accent. An Indian accent is there anywhere. Even in Morocco, there is Indian accent anywhere. So for me, Indians, they achieved something, you know, like they forced people to accept their accents.
Egyptians also.
Egyptians also, yes, they forced people to accept the Egyptian accent. Now, if there's an Egyptian coming to work in my company, I would not be rejecting him just because of his accent. Because I'm accepting him, that's it. He's an Egyptian. Nothing to do.
Yeah, I agree with you, Romea, but don't you see that the job market, I'm not talking about the people who wants to learn English to use it to communicate. I'm talking, or I'm referring to students, to people who are just graduation and they want to learn English and they have to have English in their CV and English has to be included. People who have, whether we like it or not, people who have native are favored. It's not, I wouldn't say this is a good thing or a bad thing, but as an employer, if I have a company and I would like to hire people, let's say for, you know, people who will represent me, people who will speak in a conference, I would like to have people, or if I have a choice between an Egyptian English accent or someone with a British English accent, I would choose the British English accent.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
You know, like marketing stuff. And you know better than me, I think, in those things. Marketing, it's all about this. It's all about the image. It's all about the sound. It's, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. I feel like it's true that an accent is very important today. But I think that native English speakers are accepting. So, for example, if they're accepting. So I think the problem is just in the job market within the Arab countries because they don't accept each other, if we can say. But for me, a native English speaker, he will be accepting anyone speaking just a little of English. They will be, okay, I understand. What do you know? You know, they're understanding.
Yeah.
But for us, like,
in
yeah.
in some jobs, it's really important. Like, take you as an example. You have small kids, your sons, your daughters, and you want them to learn English. Would you go for a teacher who have a native-like accent, or a teacher who have an Indian-like teacher?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, when it comes to teaching, when it comes to some jobs where accent is very important and clarity is very important, I would prefer someone with an American accent, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, then definitely. But generally, if you just want to communicate, and that's what I tell to my people, like, guys, just accept your accent. Yeah, work on it, but don't make it as a challenge.
Work on it, yes.
Just work on it. Okay, like, because when I started speaking, I was not speaking this way from the beginning. Like, the beginning I was obvious that I'm Moroccan and so on and so on. So now some people cannot even try, like, believe that I'm Moroccan because of my accent. But it's a long journey of work. I did not talk about my accent since the first day. Day one, okay, I want to change my accent. No. Accent, like, step by step. And one day when you feel comfortable in your English, then you can work on your accent step by step again.
So what you're trying to say, I think, is don't worry first about accent. Worry about other things. Worry about being clear, being understood. This is what matters, especially
Yes.
when you're just learning the language. But try to work on your accent. Like, we're saying accent, and we have to separate, of course, accent from pronunciation, because that's a different thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You have to pronounce correctly. Otherwise, people will not understand you. Otherwise, you will have some certain type of ambiguity in your speech, and this will not help you be a good communicator. So, pronunciation is different from accent. Accent is related to sounds and regional sometimes and stuff. Pronunciation is different. You have to pronounce the words as they are in the English language.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Good. So, yeah, this drives us to the next question related to English. I see that many people they worry too much about accent. They worry too much about having being linguistically accurate most of the time. Do you consider you adopt the approach of communication, teaching people how to speak, focusing more on speaking? But don't you think that also grammar, learning grammar, do you believe that grammar can be learned within context, by speaking, by repetition, like we learn it when we're kids? Or it's essential and important and crucial that people study grammar? Because if you don't study grammar, you will make mistakes. You will make grammatical mistakes. And
It's a
this
hard
is
question.
inconvenient sometimes.
It's a hard question.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, it's a hard question, actually, because studying grammar and learning grammar, in the end, it's all about learning, exactly, but it depends on how is the style of the students. There are some students, even though if you teach them grammar as rules, they would hate English because of that. So for me, I'm avoiding mentioning grammar lessons. I'm trying to include grammar within other. For example, we talk about vocabulary, then I'm going to give him a hint about grammar here and here and here. They accept it and they take it, Then we use it, so on. But grammar lesson this way, they don't accept it. There are some other students who are accepting grammar lessons. They like it. Okay, so they use it. For the kids, I prefer to have grammar, but also grammar within context. So we read a text and we try to extract from the text the grammar that we are using there. Why did we use here this and not that? and then we trying to discuss, then we, okay, this is a rule, and so on. But just like, introducing English as rules from the beginning this way, come on, we have this and that, full this and that, it's kind of hard today.
Mhm.
For people, like, yeah, it's really hard. Like earlier, I was asking my people online, like when I was alive on TikTok, I asked them, would you like speaking or grammar? Everyone was answering speaking, and I was like, okay, but guys, you don't speak. You only, like, what you do is that you go watch videos on grammar and you don't speak at all. You see, everyone is hating grammar because for them, grammar is rule. Like
the problem is,
grammar is a set of rules.
yeah, the problem is not whether to focus on grammar or not. The problem is about the way we learn grammar or we teach grammar as teachers. So
Okay, for me, the best way to teach grammar, the best way is that you put this person within a context, is that he's communicating, speaking, and within his speech, you can extract the grammar rule. I have students, for example, she's using ing in the wrong place. I'm asking her, do you think should we use going or go here? Okay, which one you feel it's good? Okay, this one. No, it's the other one. Then I give her the rule of grammar. Then she got it because for her, in her head, this rule is linked to a situation and linked to a certain sentence she said. So I'm not introducing everything to her because when I introduce everything to her, it's always passive. There's no active thing. So grammar stays passive. Yes, if I give her a text, she will be answering. If I give her a text or an exercise, she will be answering right. But when she speaks, she will be always speaking the way she is speaking. That's it. So that's what I think.
yeah, so it's in our minds, it's two different things. Learning grammar, using grammar, it's two different things. Students who answer correctly for grammar exercises, they can't use it when they speak. Why? Because it's a different stuff. It's separated.
Mm-hmm.
When you speak, you have to train yourself. Like, take example of say I should to go to school, I should to study hard. So with time, they will understand, or they will
Exactly.
like a memorizing pattern with your mind. You say, I should go, I should do, I should. With time, you will not think twice when you have should. Immediately, you will use a verb without to, without thinking. Like it becomes yours.
Exactly. I want to add one more thing is that it depends also because when you start to introduce grammar from the beginning to not only when it's a beginner student. For me, I would prefer to introduce a listening activities to the students so he can, learn something, catch something without realizing. So later on, when I'm introducing the rules to him, he can relate to the rules to what he had already heard before. But when it comes to just from the beginning, he never heard English, and you want to introduce everything from the beginning, for him, it's hard to accept. It's hard to accept. He doesn't have a background already. So that's what I want to say. And also one more thing is that, for example, I can even give comparison. The in and at about timing in mornings and at 7 o'clock. When I was like teaching daily routine to one of my students, I just give her 6 sentences, one with mornings, evenings, and afternoon, and nights, or like whatever, yeah. And the other one was timing, like 7, 8, 4 o'clock. And she did comparison and she got it now. Now, when she uses morning, she will be using in. That's it. Because she's the one extracting the rule out of the example I gave her.
Yeah. So it becomes a native rule to you passively without being introduced to it in an active way. So the thing is that when teachers teach grammar, they don't have a really good method to transfer this grammar uh, into reality, to put it in a real situation. Whether you start from that situation, as you said, and then conclude the rule, or you do the opposite, the rule, and then give the examples where they can practice, or give the situation where they can practice it more. Yes. So students, when they start, they struggle with grammar. They fear grammar a lot, but with time, as we said, uh, things becomes theirs, and they become passive learners instead of active learners. This is
Yes, exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Vocab.
She said, never
Yeah,
mention that it's a grammar lesson because you'll somehow pressure on the
yeah,
learners.
true, Asma. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yes, because you'll put somehow pressure on the learners indirectly. Yes, because when you give the rule, the grammatical rule, and you say to your students, look, shouldn't say this, it should be like this, they will have it in their mind whenever they speak. They will worry about it. Are we using the correct tense? Are we using the right rule? So it's
And
kind
that's,
of
yeah, and that's the barrier, that's a challenge that comes in front of them, you know, for the speaking. So they cannot speak, it's just because they are thinking too much about their grammar, you know. And for me, I have another approach is that, you know, commit a mistake today and correct it later. The most important part is to speak. If
yeah.
you don't speak, you will not never commit a mistake and you'll never correct it. So my students, I tell them, okay, just speak, commit as much as mistakes you can. Be comfortable speaking, express your ideas. Every time I correct their mistakes and so on. And also when it
You,
comes to
you correct on the spot mistakes for your students when they speak, or
like no how like 50-50. I do correct 50% of the mistakes, 50% no, because I don't want to really ruin their confidence. Because if I correct every mistake, they'll never speak in front of me again. You know?
but I'm repetitive. Uh,
Exactly. Some repetitive and very huge mistakes. If I see that a mistake is it
yeah,
really changing the meaning, I'm like, okay. Or maybe I can help the student if he's like panicking or stuck. Okay, you want to say this? You can say it this way. I'm helping. But I'm not really correcting every mistake. I correct every mistake only if the person is B2 level and he's committing one mistake per 4 sentences or 5 sentences. So he doesn't really commit a lot. So then I'm just correcting the person every time.
yeah. So correcting mistakes each time when people speak, this can cause also problem of fear, problem of judgment. We fear judgment. Each time you want to speak, you think about your mistakes. Talking about vocabulary, one also another struggle. I think that this would be the last question for our session. Time went very
Very
fast.
fast, yes.
It's
I can.
almost 10 left now. Yeah, very important thing when it comes to
Uh-huh.
learning. A very big struggle for English learners, especially beginners, is vocabulary.
Yes.
How or what is your approach to teaching vocabulary, and how do you advise your students to because what we want to be good communicators, vocabulary is a must. You can't express in different situations, talk for a long time, uh, be interactive with people without enough vocabulary.
Well, without vocabulary, you can be fluent, but you cannot be accurate. Without vocabulary, you can be fluent, but you cannot be accurate. So for communication, you need to be accurate as well.
How can you be accurate and not fluent?
How can you be?
How can be fluent and not accurate?
You can be fluent, no poses, like because fluency is all about poses. You not pose that much. You can really.
No meaning.
No, there is a meaning, but generally there is a meaning, but not that much accurate. You know, you explain the idea, but not the exact word. Like there are more exact words you can use, but maybe you just like use a set of words. It's just understandable. You can understand the idea, but you're speaking without pauses. That's more fluency. And when it comes to accuracy, it's like when you really choose the right word for the right timing. I
Right
think
word,
that's it.
grammar, right.
Yeah, right word, right grammar, right timing, right way of saying the word, everything. That's true. So, vocabulary, there are lots of activities and ways to learn vocabulary. Um, a student can learn vocabulary by himself. Like one of the best ways is that, okay, in the end of the day, try to record yourself describing your day or describing something happening today. Something really, you know, the highlights of the day. Try to describe it. And while you describe it, I'm sure that there are some things that you did that you cannot really describe. Some actions, you know, some feelings. Then you can go and Google it and look for the word exactly. Okay? And this way you can really learn by practicing. So you go back and you try to record again another vocal, trying to really use this word that you just learned. This is a good way to learn. Yeah, the people are learning just by themselves. That's it. There is a second one is that when they try to describe, you know, describing things is one of the best way to learn vocabulary. Me, I'm talking about an approach. It's an active approach. I'm not talking about the passive reading, listening. These things are like everyone is agreeing, you know, everyone agree that learning and reading and listening are good to learn vocabulary. But I'm trying to bring up like a kind of really new activities that I can do and really engaging activity I can do to learn more vocabulary. For example, I take a picture and I try to describe it. And I'm sure that I will not describe the picture 100%. There are some things I can say in Arabic, but I cannot say in English. Then go and Google again and find the words. Then I can describe this picture better and better. And today, alhamdulillah, we do have, you know, AI tools. We can even, you know, get help from them. They can even correct for us, like they can even correct for us what we are describing. Maybe they can describe for us things so we can learn new things, you know. These are two activities. Yeah, I think that's it. I do have more activities, but yeah. But I don't really know. I don't have them now on mind.
Great. So the description or being in different situations, speaking,
Yes,
putting the learners in a speaking situation.
exactly.
And arguing, bringing arguments, defense.
Exactly. Also agree. Yes, agree. Mm-hmm.
Like these are situations where the learner can be put in order to use his words, because vocabulary is all, this is what I say to all my students all the time. Vocabulary is all about using. Same thing we said about grammar.
Yeah.
If grammar, it's useless. Same thing for vocabulary. If you don't use them, they don't become yours. Even if you memorize them, even if you know their meanings. Like a lot of students, they know a lot of vocabulary, and knowing isn't the same thing, or isn't exactly the same thing as using. The words, they are not yours as long as you're not using them, even though if you know their meanings, if you're aware of their meanings, you know it. But they're not yours as long
That's
as
what makes that's what makes people understanding us right now, but they cannot speak like us. You know,
yeah.
They know it, but the way how to put it in a sentence, how to use it, that's a big challenge for them.
Yeah.
And how to come up with the word while they speak, because when you speak, you think about lots of things, not only the vocabulary.
Yeah. So you know the words, you're aware of it, you can memorize it. A lot of people or learners, they go with this method of learning a lot of vocabulary, or as much possible as they learn a lot of vocabulary, but when it comes to using them, they find that they're unable to use them. So these vocabulary or learning vocabulary this way is really a waste of time if you're not going to find a way to use them. That's why you mentioned some ways like description, argumenting, like talking, putting yourself in different situations,
Yeah.
different speaking situations. This is how you're going to build this fluency as well as accuracy that you talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Romesa, it's been like really time flies, and didn't feel the time passing.
Yeah,
So
me too. Oh my God.
I think we will meet on TikTok, on a live on TikTok the next time.
Yeah, sure, we can do a co-host like live on TikTok.
At the same time?
Yeah, you go on a live, I go on a live, and we doing co-host.
Yeah, we can do it anytime.
Yeah, that's gonna be really great. Like, yeah, like, you know, I think 2 months ago, I switched to TikTok and I was like more active there than Instagram. But I don't know, I'll be back to Instagram again. I'll be back to Instagram. I like this platform. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure too, like being one of your guests. And, you know, my message to people is that they have to keep learning. Keep learning. Never put very in front of you. And if you need anything, just go to someone like, you know, being English or like me, like come to go to someone who's really professional and ask them. Don't stay in your box thinking in your thoughts. No, always go ask someone who is, if we can say, professional in the field. That's the thing. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Erromaissae. See you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you guys for watching this live. I hope you find it useful, and hope to see you again in another live. Thank you and have a good night. Thank you.